Cafe Anyway.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
Is this FF episode 2403 already? 2403. And Mike Matthews. How are yous?
Mike's Daily Podcast.
That's the name of this podcast. When you do a podcast, you have to pretend that no one's heard it before, because this might be the first time someone's listening to it, or you don't know that this podcast is being heard by anyone, so you try to make it as fast as you can and go, that explained absolutely nothing.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
But I hope you used my little song diatribe as some sort of way
Mike's
to help you
Daily
in your impressive life.
Podcast.
Hopefully it's impressive.
Yeah.
Did we not cover a bunch of cool things in the last podcast about cars? Dun 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 dun. There in your car, you feel safest of all. Today I learned that there is always some light at the end of the tunnel, and that our imaginations make things way more scary than they actually are. And that we, left to our own devices, our own imaginations, could end up creating something that's far worse than anything that we could experience. Hey! I'm doing a podcast here at Cafe Anyway, somewhere in Podcastro Valley. The last place on earth. And today we are going to cover important information for if you ever want to prepare for the worst. Here are some good ideas. And first, yours truly, Mike Matthews, has to put on his cheaters, his cheating glasses, because his eyes have the LASIK eye surgery and they work to an extent, and he needs these because he's over 50.
And here's today's podcast picture.
Lovely lady friend is visiting, but she doesn't want to be on the microphone. Do you want to be on the microphone? I have to turn this up. And you can easily be on the microphone. No?
Not today.
Not today? Not today. Okay. Did you have a good walk?
I did.
Okay, she had a good walk, everyone. She hasn't been on the podcast in a long time. I'm, just to let everyone know, I'm making corned beef today. I am cooking the corned beef in a crock pot, and it's been cooking all day. Yes. And Basil, the late great Basil the Boxer, used to love corned beef as well, and every other food on the planet. But yes, what I have to do though, I had to stop at Rancho Supermercado to pick up a cabbage, 89 cents a pound. And while I was there at this fascinatingly diverse supermercado, I'm like, I gotta buy something that only this place has. And I didn't do it, but they had huge spinache. Wait, that's Italian. Spinach. What's spinach in Espanol?
Espinaca.
Espinache.
Ka.
Espinaca?
Uh-huh.
Espinaca? So the espinaca tortillas, they had, it was 10, but it was going to be like $5. So I guess that's like 50 cents a tortilla. But like the kind that they have at one of our favorite places in Podcastro Valley, the burrito shop. But, oh, did you hear that? That's a sound? That's the sound that says Mike needs to stop talking to lovely lady friend, because she's got to go. The ding ding said done. Anyway, lovely lady friend, those cabbages, the cabbage will be cooked in about another 40 minutes. And then we'll have delicious Irish food. So there you go. Lovely lady friend, everybody. Here at Podcastro Valley. And the Cafe Anyway. All right, I'll talk to you in a little bit. I'm talking about disasters, like this podcast.
No.
When disaster strikes, you should work to save lives and livelihoods. This according to the Senior Vice President of the U.S. Chamber of Commerce Foundation, Mark DeCourcy. So save lives and then check in with your employees. This is if you have a business, but, check in with your employees, make sure their needs are also being met. And you also want to check on your suppliers and your vendors if they're in the same area. Document and damage with photos and videos if you have a business and a disaster strikes your business. Ideally, you'll have photos and videos from before the disaster to serve as a baseline. File insurance claims. You'll be able to receive help more quickly, and there'll be fewer demands on your time as a business owner, so you can focus on recovery. Pursue other resources for disaster assistance. This includes loans from the Small Business Administration or the Federal Emergency Management Agency, FEMA. Also contact your local Economic Development Agency or Chamber of Commerce for options. And communicate your status. If you're open, tell people you're open. If you're closed, tell the proper authorities not only that you're closed, but why you are closed. And that is if you find yourself in trouble, if you have a business that gets in trouble there because of a disaster. And the other thing was here at Cafe Anyway, which, you know what? There have been many different things that have happened over the years at Cafe Anyway. I remember the Brewmaster has set the place on fire and burned it to the ground several times as he makes his root beer. Is he here today, by the way? We'll find out as we go outside of Cafe Anyway very soon. The podcast picture today, by the way, is... I had a picture recently of my lovely lady friend and I. You can go back there to MikesDailyPodcast.com to see that picture. But let's see, we'll go with a picture. This one will go to Lafayette. I was in Lafayette recently and spoke with someone who's been on the podcast before. A couple people that have been on the podcast before as we go outside of Cafe Anyway, where we bring you Mike's Daily Podcast somewhere in Podcastro Valley. And here's one other thing, too. Endometriosis. It's a painful disorder that occurs when tissue similar to the uterine lining is found outside of the uterus. And according to Samantha Bowick, the author of Living with Endometriosis, she says that treatment options include to decrease pain, since there is no cure or cause for endometriosis, known cause anyway, or cure. There is laparoscopic surgery that involves a surgeon making incisions in the abdominal area to insert a camera and instruments to try to remove endometriosis. All techniques for removing are not created equal, and there are ways to find out which way to use. And if you go to the latest Costco connection, they have a whole article about it, or you can find out more about Living with Endometriosis, the book that, well, look at that. Costco already has. What can you do to be proactive in your healthcare? Make a list of questions you have for your doctor. You may want to ask to be referred to a specialist or try to make one. Try to find one on your own, but make a list of all your symptoms, treatments that you've tried, tests you have had, and any other important information to take to your appointments. This can help decrease anxiety related to going to doctor appointments and help make sure you don't forget to mention something. Oh, and more about endometriosis, too, at Costco.com. I forgot to mention that as well. But that is all from the latest Costco connection. I gave them a plug. Now I'll give them a slug. Why don't your Costco connections have good articles anymore? I'm looking at stuff in here. There's nothing I can use on my podcast. Corral the chaos. Organize and upgrade and outfit your garage with a little help from Costco. No. I will not go down that road. If the answer to all of life's questions is going to Costco, I will not go down that road. Because there are other options. And know your options. So I guess what I'm saying today with options, saying that word often, we're outside and we're going to leave, basically. Because today's podcast is, and there's cabbage cooking upstairs, and those are my options. Getting some cabbage. But look who's here. Hi, Mike. It's Benita the Rodeo Queen. How y'all doing?
It's a Disgruntled Fiddle Player, tell you what.
What?
I'm not a big fan of cabbage. And I'm not a big fan of Indian traditions.
I don't even know what that last word was, but okay. Thanks for telling us what you're not a fan of. Last podcast, we talked about cat fans. And how there are a lot of cat fans in my neighborhood. And we're hopeful that someone will be able to help with helping us find Rodler, the cat. And look who else is here.
Hello, Mike. I make the delicious root beer. Have some right now.
Thank you. Wow, what's in this root beer? Cabbage?
Yeah, okay, that sounds good. Drink it right now, I'll cut you.
Well, next show, it'll be the wonderful Madame Rootabega, Valentino, and Bison Bentley. Chime in about anything we covered today. 336 Daily. 3 plus 3 equals 6. Is in Mike Matthews. Daily as in what this podcast is. And tell me why. Tell me why this. No, not to quote a Bronski Beat lyric, but Dwight Yoakam has written a couple of songs that touch my heart so deeply. It rescued me. Now free me. Oh, wait, that's a Fix song. Dwight Yoakam has a song called You're the One. You're the one that made me cry. Oh, you're the one. That song, and oh, what's the other one? You and singing. Oh, I ain't that lonely yet. No, I ain't that lonely yet. So thank you for Mike Matthews as I bumped my head against the wall. Or was that a tree? I don't know. I bumped my head, and that was the sound. Let's do it again. Oh, boy. That time. Not so good. Okay. I wish it would turn the lights on outside a cafe anyway, and I wouldn't bump myself into bumping my head into things. The other great song was Are You Sorry You Asked? Which is all about him talking to somebody who asked about an ex-girlfriend. And he starts explaining all these crazy stories and things he's upset about. So I have loved the music of Dwight Yoakam. Maybe not the acting, although he was pretty funny in Wedding Crashers. He does a pretty darn good version of Suspicious Minds. Of course, the lead singer of Bronski Beat. And forgive me, I have forgotten his name. Wow, I used to always know his name, but I don't. I have lost it in my head. He sang with Fine Young Cannibals on a great version of Suspicious Minds. But Dwight Yoakam does a great version of it. I used to know the drummer for Dwight Yoakam's band, whom I've also forgotten his name too. Wow, I'm batting 1,000 with remembering things. But I will tell you, plus Dwight did a great version of a cover of Queen's Crazy Little Thing Called Love. But You're the One. Wow, that song just blows me away. I was thinking about it the other day. Lead singer of Bronski Beat. He was also with the band The Communards. And it is Jimmy Somerville, that's right. So there you go. Check out those great artists. So you're not getting oversaturated with iHeartMedia's iHeart Awards. And, oh, wow, how many ways can we praise these people that you've heard 80 billion times on the radio? I just threw some people that you don't hear on the radio much anymore that are cool. And by the way, go to my YouTube channel because I have it's called Best Obscure Rock. and you can check it out. Here's some great songs that I didn't know. This is a pretty good song. So anyway, Cafe Anyway, there you go. And for more, it's A-Frame.
Mike's Daily Podcast is written and produced and performed by Mike Matthews. His podcast is super easy to find. Download or listen to his show and read his blog at MikesDailyPodcast.com.
Email Mike now at MikesDailyPodcast@gmail.com.
See you tomorrow. Bye!